Hi everybody and welcome back to another tutorial here in the Immaculate Confection Studio. You're going to find links to everything you need in the description below. Don't forget to join our newsletter because that's going to keep you up to date and notified of any new and exciting projects, products, classes, all the different things we get up to. I hope you enjoy the tutorial and we'll see you again very soon. So I've made everything white. I made this little fella earlier, which has the blue on it, as you can see, and I just did the once. It's sort of proof of concept, if you will. So we will make a few things, dust a few things, put them together and see what happens, basically. So pink board, so you can see it. Dawn, it's a... It's a saying. So cobbler is in a shoemaker. Oh, did I? Sorry, I meant cobbler's children have no shoes. It was and it was used by my friend as explanation for why her house is woefully under electricianed, despite being married to an electrician. And we were in fact commiserating about the fact and the similarities that we experience on that front.
Well, it's like you coming home, you making cakes in your spare time.
Literally what I do.
Yeah, I know.
Literally what I did for George, Christopher. I don't think that's an excuse.
So what wonderful cakes are you using there? So.
Oh, I don't know. Can anyone guess? Ta-da! So just in case anybody missed it. Our flour paste, our very own flour paste, which, like I said, has got some lovely reviews already. And I'm pleased to report, I mean, we knew this, but it's always nice to actually see it as well. What was it? We looked it up, 81% humidity today?
Yeah.
Everything's grand, which is always nice when that happens. So I'm just using it white tonight. Right, so I just got white. This is just some scrap fondant that I'm using to clean my board and clean myself in the hope of getting the fluff off. And this is the least non-slippy bit of non-slip mat I have ever used ever. So we'll see how that goes. Now I'm going to do it on a 20mm poly ball. I'm going to do a nice open rose. And this is one, it is in a similar style with the veining stick that we did the Valentine's roses, which was February. So that was about 4 weeks ago. 4 months ago.
Feels like 4 weeks.
Feels like a lifetime. So, as usual with our roses, I'm going to make my ball here a little hat. So I'm just going to pop some water on there, make a wee little cone, and then I'm just going to squidge that on the top like so. And then that there is ready for us to use. And then I'll roll this out and cut my first 9cm shape. So 9cm. Rolled out nice and thin, bit of corn flour so we're not sticking, and I'm just going to press firmly, give it a wiggle. Oh look, I've messed that one up, that's because I wasn't even looking while I was doing that, but never mind, let's fix it as we go. So I'm just going to, honestly, I need to pay a little bit more attention tonight. Right, I'm just going to trim that bit off there. I'll trim that around there and that will be fine. No one will notice in the end. Right, so a little bit of corn flour so we're not sticking. I'm going to use my veining stick to add some veins onto this. Like so. Bob, would you come and open the window? Because despite the fact that it's like only 3 degrees outside, I'm still sitting here.
It's still actually fairly warm outside.
I'm so warm.
It's like 14, 15 degrees.
I suppose that's warm for here.
Especially at 20 to 9.
Right, pay attention, Natalie.
Hmm?
Pay attention. Me, not you. And then I have got the last one just here. Right, I'm going to pop this onto my petal pad, just there, and use my ball tool wherever it has gone. There it is. To just come around and soften those edges ever so slightly.
Did you use a vein instead of a stick after flooring?
Yeah, you can do. I like my vein in stick, but yes, you can. Right, we're going to dust these bad boys as we go. So I am using primarily the royal blue colour. I decided that looked nicer. And I have got one of our small round brushes. So not the extra small, just the small. And I'm going to take just a little bit of dust at a time, because we can always add more, but we can't take it away. So make sure there's not too much on your brush. And I'm just coming up from the centre towards the edges there. Like so. So you want to leave the top of the petals white, but we've got that blue on the inside. It's a lovely colour in it. I do like this one. And remember, turn the petals rather than trying to do it at a weird angle that then means you're not doing it with enough control. Yeah. It's those short repetitive flicking brush strokes that are going to blend the colour as you put it on, so that you have that nice progression from the deeper colour on the inside to slightly paler and then fading to the white on the edges. Just a little bit more there to darken it. And then you're going to do the other side as well. So again, centre towards the edge. Now, the wonderful thing is that the new flower paste, not that I'm going on about it or anything, it holds its shape, but it is still malleable for quite some time, which means that it is damn near perfectly suited to making rapid roses and a bunch of other flowers that, if you're on Flower Club or done the classes, you'll have seen. I do like a quick all-in-one method, which it's perfect for. So I'm going to take my rapid rose pad and put it, so that was facing up, I'm going to put it upside down just like we normally would. I'm going to wet the centre and then do that little line up the edge of each petal, which is going to look a little bit funny because of the blue dust, but don't worry. It'll dye the end of your water pen, but that's okay. And I was going to wet the whole of the bud here. So this is variation on the normal one. So we'll pop that through. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to use 2 petals to begin with and curl them into each other. So this is just like how we did, like I said, the Valentine's rose, if you guys remember that. So I'm going to lift one up, attach it on, and make sure that that edge is well stuck on to my bud there. Take the opposite side, and again, make sure, can you see they're touching in the middle? They're really, really well curled into each other. And then he will come round that side, he will come round that side, and then a little bit of extra water if you need it, just to get those to stick. And those are our central petals there, like so. And then I'm going to pop a little bit more water on it, because where I've got the dust there, it's just dried really quickly, the water. Or you could use a little bit of glue. I was in a watery kind of mood today. And just like we would for our normal rapid rose, we're going to do one side of one petal, twist it around, same side of the next petal, twist it around, same side of the third petal. So we kind of got 3 little wings sticking up. And then we'll bring that on top, that one on top there, and that one on top there. And I'll remove my pad, turn it over and press the bottom down there. And if you've got some gaps or whatever, don't worry about it. That's fine. And then I'm just going to use my Dresden tool, the little spoon end, to come and just make sure that my inside edge of the petals is nicely pressed down so that I can come with my fingers and get a really, really nice outward curl on the outside edge there. And again, at the risk of going on about it, I'm very sorry, you're just going to have to put up with this for a couple of weeks. Can you see how nicely that paste is moving around and letting itself be curled and manipulated and all the rest of it? It is really nice to work with. I'm not just saying it. So that is our first row of petals, and you could of course leave this just like so to be a little rosebud if you want. So that's what I did with the one that I did earlier. I've just left him like that, but we'll add some more to this one. Now I'm just going to roll another 5 petal shape the same size, so that's the 9 centimetre. So a little bit of corn flour. Right, so press firmly, give it a wiggle, pay attention to what you're doing so that you don't wreck it like I did the one before. And there we have our shape. And then, oh, there you go, I haven't made it up. So look, that there, if you can see that, is how thin it is. Again, about half the thickness of a penny, or a little thinner than that, is what we tend to aim for, isn't it? So you can roll the paste much, much thinner than that if you want to. But as always, my personal thing is going for that middle ground where it is thin enough that you get that nice delicate look, but not so thin that you're creating yourself a liability that's just going to want to fall apart on you, because that just is no fun for anybody when you come to arrange them or taping anything or whatever. So I'm just going to come around with my veiner like so. In fact, let's make this ever so slightly easier.
Question there from Lindsay saying she was getting frayed edges when making the roses for the first time the other day. What's she doing wrong?
So you always want to, it's a big shape to cut and quite an intricate shape. So do make sure when you're cutting it, so make sure that you press down around all of the cutter, especially if it's the bigger one. Press firmly with your whole hand and give it a good wiggle. And then if you lift it up, if the paste is still in here, you can run around with your finger or just rub it on your palm, and that's going to push it in and make sure that you get a nice clean cut. If you still have some little feathery bits, don't worry about it, ignore them, carry on, because they will get, they'll be flicked off when you dust them. They're so delicate, and especially when they've dried, that the dusting will just flick them off, and that's fine. It's kind of just, it happens, and it happens with any cutters there. Right, I am being very, very, very butterfingered this evening. Okay, so plenty of veins, and you can see I do like doing it with the veining stick because it starts the beginning of the shape and stretching it out and everything as well. And I do think that a veining stick is honestly, it's one of the most versatile tools that you can get. Right, let's smush them together. So, ball tool around the edge to just give it a little bit of shape. And this is normally the step where we would then curl it back in advance, which I will do, but I'm going to do that after I've dusted it, because we're going to do the same thing that we did just before of dusting it a little bit before we attach it to the rest of the rows. So we bring that back there. There we are. Where has the dusting brush gone? There it is. So again, just a little at a time from the centre towards the edges. I'm going to be really self-conscious now about everything that I say. Right, let's go flip that over. Do the same again on the other side. Again, using just a little at a time. See, it's like sequin. Growing up in my house, my parents, we used to call them sea queens, and I have to stop myself.
What's it called? Sea queens?
Sea queens, it's sequin.
Oh, sequins. Oh, I can't even remember how I say it now.
We've been
Sequins.
together too long, my dear. Right. So that's my bluey bits there. Oh, well, I'm going to stick with penguin, thank you.
Well, Andrew says in Brazil they pronounce it pinguin.
Penguin.
Penguin.
Oh, I like that. So I'm just going to curl those edges back just a little bit here. And if you find, if they don't want to curl, because we've sort of flattened it down doing the brush with the dust there, you can just come around again quickly with your board tool. And it's just, I'm just being quite rough and light with it here. And that will give it just a little bit more shape so that we can come and curl up those edges. And you can, dependent upon the weather, the climate, the humidity, etc., etc. See, I think it must be because of Pingu. Because he's definitely Pingu, not Pengu. Right. There we go. So those are curled back. Turn that upside down. I can't pick it up because it's not sticking because of all the dust. There we are. Right. Upside down into your rapid rose pad. And again, water in the centre. And a little bit up each edge. It is different when you do the dust as you go on things like this, because it's amazing how much of the liquid the dust absorbs as soon as you put it on.
Yeah.
So if you need to add a bit more, don't worry about that at all. And then now we're exactly the same as our normal rapid rose procedure. So we'll attach the one side of one, the same side of the next one, and then that comes on top there. We'll turn it round. That goes inside just there. That bit comes on top. That goes just there. This bit comes on top. That one goes just in there. That goes on top. And then if we've done it right, our very last bit there goes on top of the very first bit that we did. And you've got that complete interlocking pattern. And then, not with your cutting wheel, with your Dresden tool, just like before, you're going to come in and make sure that the inside edge of all of your petals is firmly pressed down there, because then we can come, again, give them a little curl. Open that up, and then we'll use the Dresden tool to come and just open these petals just a little bit more, like so. And again, you've got a ton of working time with these. And I'm going to put it to one side and I'm going to come back to it and show you guys how you can continue to arrange as it dries, because the drier it is, the more strength it's going to have, which means that if you prod something, instead of collapsing or whatever, it's going to stay put. But you can see how quickly this stuff holds its shape so that you can get your petals on, and then you've got plenty of time to continue arranging it and so on. We want a couple of little berries. So I'm going to do these on some 28 gauge wire. So I'll just do a couple here. Got a light. So I've just got some of our flower paste. I'm just rolling a nice little ball. And the best thing to do here is a little bit of petal base or Trex. And then just in your palm like so. And then, so I've just got nice little balls, and then I'll light my candle. And this is a nice trick, which I'm sure you'll have all seen, but just in case there's anyone that hasn't, I'll do it. See, candle trick. And what we're going to do is pick up a wire, hold it in the flame to heat it up till it gets nice and hot, and then insert that into the ball. And you want that little hiss and little puff of smoke. If you've done that, you know that it was hot enough that it's going to have melted the sugar, and that is going to be attached right away. And that is it. It is the quickest, bestest way for making berries. Now, if you find sometimes what will happen is that the paper on the wire will catch and it will burn a long way down. Don't worry about it too much. Just heat it up as normal. Insert the wire and keep pushing the berry till it's come down far enough to where your paper tape is on the paper on the wire is intact, and then we can just chop off that burnt bit and nobody would ever know. Just got one more to do here. So we've got some little berries. I have made some teensy tiny little leaves like this, which I'm hoping when they're all together on a stick will be sort of bamboo-ish. So to do those, again, I've used some 28 gauge wire because they're so light, we just need something nice and slim. That's fine. Again, a little bit of white paste. Which I will roll out just there. Corn flour so we're not sticking, and then I've just used the smallest of our multi-use petals and leaves cutters. So I'm just going to cut one of those. That worked. And then cut him in half, like so. Yeah, that's not the most equal half ever, but that doesn't matter. I will pop those onto my petal pad and just whiz up with the ball tool. I'm going to make two tiny little twiddles on those 28 gauge wires there. So a little bit of glue, dab it off as always so that it's not swimming in too much glue. Pop that on there, and if you want either some petal base or some corn flour if you're sticking, we'll just make a nice little twist of paste on there. Yes, they are teeny tiny. And then the damn it, hang on. My brush is very blue. Let me just no, it's alright. I need to. That'll do. So I do like to pop just a little bit of glue on there just to be on the safe side. So just a wee bit up there, and then we will stick one little leaf on there, the second little leaf goes on there. You can pinch it shut around the base, and again this lovely paste. you can do all your pinching shut and stuff. It doesn't crack, which is just delightful. And then we want to give all of this just a little bit of a shape. So if you turn it over so that the wire and the twiddle side is out, and then everything's a bit blue here. So I'm just going to pop my Dresden there, pick up the tail and just pull it up, and then let you see you get this lovely little smooth backwards curl on it, and then just plop it down somewhere to dry. They're so small, so small. There we are. And as I said, my hope is that those in the end will be, what did I say, Chris? Bamboo-ish.
Bamboo-ish.
So I've just made some rose leaves as well. So that I'll not do these because we've done them a billion times, but rose leaf cutter. Just want a veiner. I'm a big fan of my simple FMM one, which actually is the right colour. It's supposed to be white.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say.
that's kinda like-
But yeah, just rose leaves, dried with a bit of shape there. And then the last thing that I've made, which we did these last week, so I'm cheating a bit doing the same thing again, but never mind, is I've just done a few little tiny blossomy things. So those, just a simple little pulled flower. Might have slightly bit more than that. So you're going to form a cone like this. Then you need to poke a hole in the top. Can use the cone tool. I found it was a little wide, so actually I used my veining stick. Like that. So there's a hole in the top there. And then tiny scissors to cut that into, I'm doing 4, but depending on what you were doing, you could do more than 4. And then you're going to take each little bit, if you need to, pop some corn flour on your fingers there, pull it back and just squeeze it flat, and it just makes these teeny tiny little blossoms. And for the purposes of this week, and knowing that we were going to have that sort of lovely blue dust going on there, I'm just using my Blossom Sugar Art, so you can't see it on there, can you? Blossom Sugar Art Petunia mould. And I'm just going to pop, so it's in the sticky up bit, and I'm just popping my little blossom on there, just giving it a gentle press. It just gives us lovely little bits of veins and details in there. Like so. 24 gauge wire, teeny tiny little hook on the end, dip it in the glue, dab off the excess. And then that is going to go straight through the centre. Till it's just about level with the flower paste there. And then we can pinch the flower on. And then if you wish, you can twist and neaten up the back a bit. However, that is the point at which, if you're going to sort of damage the flower, that is when it will happen. If you're not quite there doing that yet, just leave it pinched. Nobody's looking at the back of the flowers, honestly. So just simple little blossomy thing, like so. Let's do some, we'll do some more dusting. So it's not, in some ways, it's not the most exciting dusting because it is just one colour. But on the other hand, it is something that is going to not necessarily challenge you, but you've got to do it careful and you've got to do it right, because you're putting a deep colour onto a pale colour. So you're kind of only going to get one chance, effectively. So here's my one that I made earlier, and you can see that I've put a little bit of extra dust on the edges there, which is what we'll do with our big rose when he's had a little bit more time to set. And like I said, look, there's still movement in him there. This bit, I'm just going to re-stick. There we are. And then we can come and open it out nicely. And remember, with the roses, you're opening it out from the base. You don't want to bend the petals back, so it's not like this and then falls over. You need the whole thing to move. So you're coming in, going nice and deep on each petal there to open it out.
So your recipe for the glue is just water and CMC, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is, but people, because I make it so much thicker and it works better than the stuff you buy in the shops, folk keep asking for the quantities. And like I said, I was going to try and work it out today. I did it with a quarter teaspoon of CMC, and I could have made enough to feed a family of 6 for a week, I think. So yeah, we'll go for into the Dresden. So yes, look, you can keep shaping them. And this is the thing, and this is something that one always does with the sugar flowers, is keep an eye on them as they dry. Because gravity will do things, you will look at them and go, oh, actually, it would be nice if I changed the shape here a bit, whatever. You've got that working time with the flower paste here so that you can make those adjustments as you go along, so that you've got a shape that works for you. And with the roses, remember, it's always the outside edge of the petals, just here. That is the bit that you want to open up, because on a real rose, that's the bit that would open up first, because it's not trapped by its neighbour. Oh yeah, I told you there'd be a lot of forgotten words tonight. Okay, let's put that down. Stop playing with that. We can start with something nice and easy, which is our berries. So, gotta have some berries, always. So it's got 3 of them that I'm holding there. You can see a little bit of dust, and we're just going to come from the bottom up. So you do want to make sure that you've got just a little bit of white left on the top, and of course it's deeper underneath. But that is going to give us the same sort of tones and colours and things as what we're looking for, kind of willow pattern-esque. Got a long tail on this one, so I'm just going to snip that off. So a little bit of the royal blue still, bottom up with the berries, and it just gives us that lovely two-toned effect that we're looking for across this monochrome colour palette. So, like I said, I was looking it up earlier. So Willow Pattern is a specific design on pottery in blue and white that cropped up in about the late 18th century. Around about the time that in the potteries, so all the ceramic factories in the Midlands near Stoke-on-Trent and that, they were able to start doing decorating with transfers instead of hand painting.
Right.
Which is why it became so very, very popular. And of course it emulates the hand painting on Chinese pottery.
I was going to say,
that is blue and white.
Where that kind of came from.
So China, the blue paint that they use was made with cobalt oxide. And the first recorded pieces of it, albeit that they are just shards and fragments, are from the 7th century. So that's a good sort of 1500 years ago, or thereabouts. Or 1400 years ago. So yeah, that's what Willow Pattern emulates, and they did it with transfers. And Willow Pattern specifically is supposed to be based on a particular legend, and whether or not this is true, there was one thing that I read that suggested that the whole legend of what Willow Pattern pottery depicts was a marketing ploy made up by the potteries to sell more of it. But the idea is that there's a wealthy merchant who had a daughter who was supposed to marry an equally wealthy and famous duke, but she had fallen in love with a lowly accountant from within the merchant's household. I think that's the one I just made. We'll abandon him. So they, hang on, I've wrote this down. So yeah, she was supposed to get married to this duke, managed to escape. The duke had turned up for the wedding and bought a box of jewels with him that he was, I don't know, giving to her or whatever. So the accountant and the girl stole the jewels, ran away. The father hunted them down, but then the gods took pity on them and turned them into a pair of doves so that they could escape. And that is evidently what the story is that you get on like traditional Willow Pattern crockery.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Well, where's that story supposed to have happened?
In China.
In China.
Yes. Right, let's do these little blossomy fellas. So I've got a smaller brush. So I'm just going to take a little bit. I just want to go right in the centre, and with just the tiniest brush strokes, just draw it out. Just a little bit like that. And I think that that is it. And in fact, this, let's scrub that a little bit because I think there's a bit of black on there. So again, just dab, dab, dab in the centre, tiny bit of dust on there, and then we're just drawing it out to the edges. And that is it on those. So these are my little bamboo-y leaves, which I'm just going to do from the base, coming up so that they're darker at the bottom. That was worked a treat, I think. So off the basis of what we were just saying, technically making flowers like this in these colours is actually not Willow Pattern, because Willow Pattern is specifically the ones that have got a willow tree and the riverbank that is telling that, supposedly telling that story we just said. So these are just blue and white pottery flowers in a chinoiserie style. I had to think hard about saying that. Couldn't spell it if my life depended on it, that's for sure. So I've just got to decide how I want to dust up the rose leaves, which I think it either needs to be edges in or middle out. You still got that picture of that plate open?
No.
Oh, don't worry then. What do you reckon?
What do you reckon? What? How are you going to do it?
Yeah. So let's
Do you
try.
want me to find that?
No, it's alright. So let's see if we do outside in. So my brush is perpendicular to the edge of the leaf. And again, tiny little flicking motions so that the colour blends. I'll be honest, not in love with that, so let's see what happens if we do it the other way around. If we have the colour, I don't know, maybe they're just going to be blue leaves. We are blue leaves with a darker edge. Let's take some of that navy there alongside the royal blue there. Okay, that's not, I mean, it's not terrible. Oh, bless you, Lindsay. That's the idea. Do you know what? It's just fun, and it's just seeing what things we can create, and it's not like we don't take it too seriously. It's not a specific project or whatever. It just sort of keeps me amused. See, I'm not sure that coming from the outside, from the centre towards the outside works either. So actually, what I'm going to do, official party line here, is a light coat of blue all over. followed by a concentration of colour to give us a darker edge. And I think that that is going to work, and it will give us a really nice bit of contrast as well, actually. Here we are. Yeah, I think that will work. Oh, rogue little flower. Hang on, let's just deal with him. So again, just from the outside edge towards the middle on the one side, and then the other. And then, yeah, we'll accentuate the edges. So that's plenty of dust, very short, sharp brush strokes there. I don't know, why not? Okay, so white tape, which I have here, and I'm just going to pass a bit through the yellow box of doom, aka the tape shredder. So that will just, more or less, it's thinner than it was. Now let's see, I want some, so I want to make it a bit twiggy, right, because I think that kind of suits what we're doing. So I'm going to take a piece of 24 gauge wire. Yeah, I folded it more or less in half, and I'm going to tape this together. Right, so I've made a little twig, and I'm just going to attach our little blossomy whatevers to it, whatever it is that we're calling these. So, oh, tore my tape off. So I just bring it down a little bit and attach another one. Yeah. Oh, broke that one. Never mind. I'm just being a bit enthusiastic. Right, so if I put this one here, that will hide the fact that I just broke that other one. These things do happen.
They do.
Right, I'll bring that tape down, and then actually, because I've got a nice long strong wire on this, because it's doubled up with the 26 or 24, can't even remember now, that's going to give us a nice base for the rest of it just here. And we can angle this like so. Yeah, that'll do. Might bring this one forward slightly. Okay, so that is our little starting bit. Now I'm going to do the same again actually with a doubled up bit of 24. So it's the royal blue from the blue sets. It's really nice. I like it. And I'm just going to bring my tape up this. I told you I'm being all butterfingered tonight just because my fingers are tired. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's been a...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And actually, let's make that just a tiny bit thicker with an extra bit of tape. So I've got some of those nice thin bits that I'd cut. And I just want to take some of my little teeny tiny leaves, and I'm going to use them in sort of 2s, 3s or 4s, something like this, right? So there's just a little cluster of 3 together.
Mary says, could you mix that colour dust with dipping solution and paint the cake tier, or could I get it using paste?
So no is the answer, unfortunately. So this is, right, give me 1 second because I can't do 2 things at a time. So I just want to come, I'm not putting it at the top here, just a little bit further down. I'm just going to tape that on. And I'm going to go back and dust the, I'll dust the stem blue. Give me 1 second. And I want to keep that fairly straight because this is supposed to be our sort of bamboo-ish. Right, Mary, so the royal blue, that one is one of our non-edible, non-toxic ones, so you're fine on removable decorations, you're just not supposed to eat it. If you did eat a bit, it's not going to kill you, not by a long shot, because like I said, it is non-toxic. It's got that particular ingredient in it that does the bright pinks and bright purples that within the EU is regarded as non-edible. If you are in Australia or the States or Canada, most of the rest of the world to be fair, then you're absolutely fine. So your nearest bet will be the navy, which is a very similar colour as you can see, but it has got a, where this has got a warm royal blue, for want of a better word, tone to it, the navy does have that slightly tealy tint more than anything else, and it's just to do with the different colours and what's edible and what's not and so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want a royal blue for the colour of your fondant, then that you want to do a bright blue with a bit of purple, and if you've got our colours then it's sort of cyan and purple, and that is what's going to give you that mixture, because royal blue, in terms of the colour wheel, royal blue is actually quite a, it's not so much that it is a purpley colour, but it sure isn't a greeny colour, if that makes sense, which is the other side of your blue, of course. Just want a little bit of something there to make that longer. Right. Now, I shan't do it because we'll be here all night, but on account of this supposed to be being kind of bamboo-ish, what you could do is have twisted up some tape and put that, you could even spiral it down to give the little ridge that bamboo sort of has on it.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that this, if I now dust over that stem, alright, this is perhaps not quite as bamboo-ish as I might have liked, I think. I don't know, what do you guys think? But it's certainly going to give us a slightly different sort of shape and texture and everything there, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'll do 2 first on this one, which can go just there. And whether you tape them straight onto the stem or if you tape them together first, it's completely up to you. It's not a right or a wrong, it's just whichever you find most comfortable. So I'm just taping my what's names, berries, into just a little groups of 3, 4 or 5 there. I've got a couple more have the little blossoms, but I'm not going to tape those. We'll see what we decide to do with them. But what I am going to do is attach some tape to this here leaf so that I can take another leaf and just make a little pear like that, which I think we've discussed before. It's not the official arrangement of rose leaves, but it will do. And I quite like the way they look like that. Do you know what? Because it is warm and humid, the tape is outrageously sticky. You know when it gets warm enough that it almost goes slimy? Oh guys, that's where I'm at with the tape just now. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to start with my biggest rose there. And we'll just get some tape attached. And I will pop, I'm going to bend my leaves back there. So that I can stick them round about there, I think will do. Like so. Now I'm going to be careful of my rose because he is still a little malleable. And we can pop some berries, maybe some more berries. Yeah, about there. So again, let's get that tape round. I think cold is relative, eh?
Oh yes, very much a relative term.
That's very true. Alright, I'm just going to swap over to some, look, I'm turning everything I touch blue. So we have that. I've got this other one, which I think, yeah, look, that can sit. They sort of intersect together quite nicely there, so I think I will tape that round. And as always, I'm not too worried about being super neat with the tape at this stage. It's about just getting it on. So here is, let's see what happens if, oh, I like that. That works. Right. Okay, so that's our first bit of, what is it, Chris?
What?
Bamboo-y stuff. Now I'm going to bend that rose out of the way just so that I can tape that one slightly better. Okay, so I'll pop some more of this bamboo-iness here. Because I think it looks really nice. And I might, well, the bamboo is quite straight, I might give it just a little bit of shape there because it's so straight it's looking odd.
What other hotels are on in that area? I said about Hilton, Premier Inn.
Well, the NEC is right near the airport.
Yeah, so it's helpful.
So between the airport and the NEC, there's everything. Premier Inn, Travel Lodge. I think there's an Ibis. There's a Hilton. There's a whole bunch there. So look, I just popped the bamboo-y stuff up the top there, and actually what I'm going to do, because it's really annoying me, there is one little bamboo leaf there, I broke it and I can see it. So I'm actually just going to snip that off altogether. Just there. And where I've been touching it, I've lifted off some of the dust from the tape. So I think that works quite nicely with that bamboo-y bit. Right, I can bend that rose back into position there. So I think that we could do with could do with a couple of leaves just there. So this is the problem. If we zoom in too much, it then gives me such a tiny space to work in, which is really difficult when I'm doing this, because of course I need to be able to move it around so that I can get to everything. Right, so I'm going to pop a couple of rose leaves behind here, and actually that little one there, I'll bend forward slightly like that. Oh. So again, it's just getting the tape round so that it's attached. We can go back and neaten it up afterwards. Bring out that second leaf. We'll spread out the bamboo slightly just so that we can see it. Oh. There we are. I don't know about you guys, but I really like it, that bamboo. Like having something tall and straight behind is working. It's working for me. So maybe some more berries. I really am being the most butterfingered tonight. Right, I want some berries under there. Something like that, which of course means that we need to bend them back on themselves. So it's a funny shape like this, because that is what is going to fit under there. So let me get my tape reattached. So that is a few more berries. Can I pop? Yeah, that will work. Right, so my little stem of blossomy things, I think, can sit oh, somewhere under here maybe. Yeah, that will work for me. So again, hold that in place as best we can and get the tape around before it all before it all moves. Right, we can always adjust it a little bit afterwards. So that's that just there. Now, right, I'm going to bring the tape down just to secure everything that I've got so far. You would, to put it in a cake, you would want to stick it in a posy pick. So it's like a little plastic test tube shaped thing that you put in the cake, and then you put this in to it so that it protects the cake from the wires there. I'm literally turning everything I touch blue.
You are quite blue fingers, apparently.
Well, I don't want the entirety of my roll of tape to end up blue, because I'll regret that the next time that I want white tape that's actually white. I've got these left. Now if I adjust them like I did the other ones, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of blue up from the bottom there. So if you guys have a go at this, you can be way neater, obviously. And these, I think, yeah, right, so I'm going to tape them together. And there are 3 of them like that, slightly differing heights there. When you, Lindsay, how do you mean side? Do you mean
on the edge of the top, or on the sheer, on the vertical side?
Yeah. So those, I just want them to, I want these to poke out under there a little bit. But I'm going to flip that around because they're going to sit nicely there, like that. Oh, come on, damn thing. Right, okay, if I attach these, it should then be able to move them into position. Oh, do you know what? The thing that always gets me, they end up quite heavy when there's this many, and holding them hard, it kills my thumb joint.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. It's from work I used to do, trying to hold things, little things, as hard as you can.
Where are the right, let's do it with some tweezers so that I don't break anything, because I just want these 3 that I've just added here to see where we can actually see them. And then I think maybe just one more little leafy. Not sure. Honestly, so very butterfingered here.
Yeah, so Lindsay was talking about the sheer size of the cake, but
that isn't. It's a very difficult thing to do, because do you know what? I'm not going to add another leaf there. I think I'm just going to add the berries because they look.
no, I think it doesn't.
They look really nice. So right, let me deal with this. I cannot do 2 things at once at the best of times, especially not today. I'm struggling a bit. Yeah, on the side of a cake is a notoriously difficult place to put them. It's always easier if they are on the side of like the second tier, because then you've got the first tier to put them in, basically. Sorry. Oh, bless you. I'm glad you guys like this. I like it, actually. It's nice. Well, maybe we'll try some other things in like monochrome colours.
Yeah, it was really well. Well, just goes to show how much you can get out of one colour.
Yeah. I think if I were to change something, I would try to be a little bit neater with some of it, so that there was a bit more on there that was whiter. Yeah. Just for sake of a bit more contrast, but actually it's nice. Sorry, my hands really are going tonight, which is why this is taking me 10 times longer than it normally does. Right. Okay, so let me do my usual. Oh, in fact, I'm going to go one step further than the usual, because that is proper filthy. There we are. Let's pop him down there. And you can do your magic, Christopher. But yeah, I quite like that. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, I love to see what you guys make. So do join our group on Facebook, Natalie's Cake Studio, where you can share your pictures, ask any questions, or get any help that you might need. The link is in the description, along with a link to our website as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and do check out some of our other videos. We'll see you next time.